Greetings and welcome. I am Billy1011 and I will be the host for Megane Melee 2. To start off, Megane Melee started off as just a fun little stream I did last year on June 6th. June 6th is National Eyewear Day, so I focused on 5 fighting games that featured at least one character who wore glasses. As for why, well, let's just say I have a bit of an association with characters that wear them. Anyways, after this concluded, I naturally started thinking about the possibility of making it a yearly thing, and I got the idea to morph it into a charity stream. A charity stream is something I've considered doing for a while, as it seems like a fun twist on my usual stream formula that would also allow for greater viewer interaction while also helping a good cause in the process. And for this event, I've decided to support the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation is a leading organization in mental health research since 1987, finding ways to better the lives of those suffering from mental disorders such as depression, ADHD, autism, addiction, and more, by awarding grants to scientists and researchers to discover breakthroughs in neuroscience. Their cause resonated with me strongly as, without going into personal details, mental health and mental illness in general is quite prevalent in my life. So, no matter how much we raise, whether it be $1 or $1,000, I hope it'll support this cause at least somewhat. Donations will be made through Streamlabs Charity, with incentives based on the amount that allows viewers to impact what is going on in the game. But before we go into the incentives, let's talk about what the main games of the session will be. Starting off the session will be an admittedly divisive game in the fighting game community. DNF Duel is an anime fighter created by Aiding, the people behind brutal fighting games such as Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and Fate Unlimited Codes, with graphics by the legendary Arc System Works, known for franchises such as Guilty Gear and BlazBlue. The game is based on the Korean MMO Dungeon Fighter Online. While its popularity has definitely dwindled, it still has a small passionate community that hosts lobby nights and events such as Rollback to Block and Clover Clash. This game is being featured because of Launcher, a spectacular bespeckled specimen with a large and explosive arsenal of
guns. Lots of guns.
As you'd expect, she's largely a long-range fighter, but has a few options for close-range combat. Surprisingly, this is the only case in this lineup where the character that got this game in the event is not my main character. Because, in truth, I don't actually play Launcher that much. I'm actually a Kunoichi main, so other than the few times I pick her for a change of pace and the few days of practice I'm devoting to her before the event, I'm putting myself at a bit of a disadvantage. But regardless, I love this game, so I'm happy that I'll get to put it in the spotlight for a bit. Going from a small game to one of the top 3 biggest fighting game franchises in the world. Tekken. While it may not be my 3D fighter of choice, it's still a fantastic game to watch and play. Additionally, Tekken 2 was the first fighting game I can remember owning, even though other entries were out for a while by that time. While it was also in the lineup last year, with this being the final year before Tekken 8, I thought I might as well include it one more time before we move on from it forever. The game is once again here due to one of my favorite glasses girls in fighting games, Julia Chang. Aside from her very appealing appearance, she also possesses all the necessary tools that I look for in a 3D fighting game character. Fast pokes that can easily convert into strings, good launchers, and so on. I'm far from being a Tekken pro. Hell, I can barely Korean backdash. But I'm determined to put on as good of a show as I can as a swan song for Tekken 7. Please, Harada, announce Julia and Nate already. We know she's coming. Up next, the Eternal launch party continues. Okay, I'm gonna be honest, this is the biggest stretch in this lineup. Rather than a character, what got this game in the roster was not a character, but a costume, being an alt for Parasol. However, this costume is selected with the light kick button, which is bound to A on most controllers, and that's what most games use as the default select button. So, in my mind, this is Parasol right here. Anyway, Skullgirls is great. It's an indie fighting game inspired by tag fighters such as Marvel vs. Capcom, and despite its age, it's still got an insanely passionate community. I still remember when this was coming out back when I was a kid, and to this day it's still getting DLC and was included as a main stage game at EVO 2022. While it's admittedly the game I've put the least amount of time into on this list, it's certainly one of the most fun fighters out there. Now, we come to my second favorite fighting game series. One of the greatest anime fighters in recent years, Melty Blood is an extremely fast-paced game based on the Tsukihime universe created by Type Moon. The most recent entry, Melty Blood Type Lumina, modernizes the game for the recent Tsukihime remake, and also features characters from the immensely popular Fate series. Melty is known for having a heavy focus on aerial combat, which the community refers to as air footsies, and has a pretty open combo system with lots of room for player expression. The game features not one, but two 4-eyed characters, Shiel and Shiki Tono, our first male character to be highlighted in this event. I've met a lot of great people through this game, and I hope to see some of them hop into the lobby for this. Now, I said that Melty Blood was my second favorite fighting game series. Naturally, the fifth and final game is... Dead or Alive is the game that got me into fighting games. Since that fateful day I tried out the free-to-play version of Last Round, it has been THE fighting game in my eyes. The fast-paced combat, the interactive stages, the way characters move, Kasumi's entire existence, all of it keeps me coming back. I don't care how other people see the series. I don't care how low the player count gets. I don't care how much they fumbled 6. I don't care how uncertain the series' future is. DOA is my game! Okay, I do have a lot to say about how 6 was fumbled, but that's a rant for another day. Coincidentally, DOA 5 and DOA 6 have something that make it not only eligible, but fitting as the final game of this event. Every character can wear glasses. Even Ryu Hayabusa. For this event, we are playing DOA 6, because while 5 is my preferred game in terms of pretty much everything, The Steam version was so botched to the point that it doesn't even have lobbies, so 6 is pretty much the easier option. Don't get me wrong though, DOA 6 is still a fun game, but the disaster that was DOA 5's PC port, something that I will never not be mad about. In addition to being my favorite series on the list, DOA 6 also has the honor of being the only game here that is free to play, through its Core Fighters version that comes with 4 free characters, with the option to buy any one character that seems interesting to you separately. Additionally, online is also available even in this Core Fighters version, so whether you're a hardcore DOA fan like I am, or just found out that it's not just the volleyball games 2 minutes ago, you can hop in for some matches. I look forward to hopefully showing off some quality DOA gameplay. Now that we've finished the list of featured games, now we can talk about... No charity stream is complete without donation incentives. These are various actions that viewers can trigger depending on the amount of money they donate to the cause. These can range from standard fighting game related stuff to some that are more out there, and one in particular that even I have to say could easily lead to disaster. Donating between $1 to $4.99 doesn't do anything specifically, but it will pop up on stream with a cool little alert. Starting from $5 donations is where the effects start to appear. For $5, you can have the option to change my character to anyone in the current game's roster of your choice for the next 5 matches. Whether you want to give me mercy and allow me to play Kunoichi for a few in DNF, or decide to make me suffer and put Brad Wong in my hands during DOA, you have full control over who I'll have to control. In the case of Skullgirls, if you only list 1 or 2 characters, I could still theoretically pick Parasol as my 3rd though. But I'll have to think about what I'm gonna do when it comes to situations like that. Now, the $10 and $20 donations are what I specifically had in mind when I said some of them are a little out there. As in, they deviate from the fighting game theme just a little bit. Nikkei is yet another example of my curse to love fanservice games for everything but fanservice. I downloaded it around the time it released, thinking it would be just another gacha game I'd drop after 3 days. Only to be seriously impressed by everything about it. Story and world building, the lovable characters, the arcade shooter-like gameplay and team strategy, and more were shockingly good for a mobile game. Fast forward over 6 months, and haven't missed a single event, both the good and the bad, and I make sure to get my daily challenges done on most days if I can. And today, I'd like to involve it with this event. For $10, you can force me to roll 1 singular Nikkei, and for $20, I'll do a 10 pull. Now, you're probably saying, this is the stupidest idea of all time, you are going to go broke by the end of the night. Well, don't worry. I've been preparing. I have over 100 summon tickets that I've been building up for the past few months, and I am not against disabling this option if I literally run out of pulls. Please, I beg you, do not make me disable this option too early. Now back to fighting game / event relevant incentives. For $30, you can extend the time of the current game by 30 minutes. Whether you like the current game and don't want to see it go yet, or you just want to see me continue to fumble around if it's a game I'm not too familiar with, it's $30 for 30 extra minutes. Now, there are some games that I prefer playing with an arcade stick, and some games I prefer with a controller. So that's why, for a $40 donation, you can make me switch to the other controller. As an example, say we're in the middle of Skullgirls, a game I usually play on Fight Stick. If someone triggers this incentive, I'll be forced to play on a gamepad, most likely my Xbox controller, for the rest of the game's time. On the other hand, if we're in the middle of DOA, which I exclusively play on controller, you can make me switch to my fight stick. I've tried playing DOA on a fight stick before. It was painful. Also, yes, if someone donates for it and then someone else does too shortly afterward, that will switch me back. So I guess if you wanted, you could coordinate with someone else and trap me in an endless loop of switching between controller and fight stick. But I'm not here to theorycraft the Megane Melee donation meta, I am just laying the ground rules. Now, for a $50 donation, you can have a major impact on this event. Because if you do so, you can choose any fighting game I have! Well, to be more specific, it's a curated list of everything I have installed in my Steam Deck, plus a few from other consoles, but that's still a lot of power to place in the hands of Twitch chat. Just imagine a random viewer popping into the stream thinking it was time for Tekken, but instead they're greeted with Blade Arcus! This one incentive could potentially derail the entire stream depending on who's watching. But you know what? It's for charity! Anyways, if you go beyond $50, you can combine any two previous options and get special thanks after the event ends. Now, moving on to the final bullet point. We're technically not done with incentives yet. Every time we reach a fourth of our $1,000 goal, that's every $250 total, there will be something special as thanks for raising that much for the Brain and Behavior Research Foundation. First, for a $250 total. So, if you somehow haven't picked up on it, yeah, I think Glasses Girls are pretty cool. In fact, I even have a tier list ranking my favorite fictional four-eyed females, but I will only share it with you if you all raise at least $250. So, if you do that, I'll reveal the Glasses Girl tier list live on stream and leave it up during the setup for the next game so you can judge my unique taste in fictional women. Anyways, up next. This next one would actually prolong the total time of the event. If we manage to raise a total of at least $500, I'll tack on a bonus game, decided at random with the fighting game wheel. This is the same list that you'll be able to choose from for the $50 incentive, except this time, it's completely random. Whether this is a game we know or one of the many poverty fighters I have buried in my Steam library, hope it'll at least be fun. Now, the last two are really just me embarrassing myself, to be honest. If we raise at least $750 total, I will make an attempt to draw my favorite fighting game character, Kasumi from Dead or Alive. Specifically, I'll be trying to draw the custom I made for her in DOA 6, which does fit with the theme since she has glasses in that one. But here's the catch. I am not an artist by any means, and I'll be drawing it in paint.net. And I do not have a drawing tablet, so I'm stuck with a mouse. So, in conclusion, it's gonna look terrible no matter what. But that's the fun part, isn't it? And finally, we come to our $1,000 milestone reward. Yup! If you all raise $1,000 during this event, I will do a live cover of my song, My Messiah. I am not confident in my singing skills at all, so I'm certain it's gonna be a disaster too. But regardless, I'll do it! As a bonus, this live cover will have something special that wasn't in the original version of the song. And without going into details, it'll have some out-of-context spoilers for one of the 20 projects I have in the back burner. So, if you're curious what this twist is, or just want to hear me embarrass myself, better get donating. And that's it! Megane Melee 2 will be streamed on my Twitch channel at BLegion11 on June 6th, starting between 2 or 3 p.m. PST. Hope to see you there, and as always, thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your day. Farewell!